So I suppose that we can start our space today because it's almost time to start. So please welcome Eitan Katz, who is Kima co-founder and CEO, and Odetta I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing your surname wrong, who is Chief Operation Officer of Neurochain AI. So happy to see you here, guys. So my name is Olena. I'm Kima Marketing Manager, and I'm going to host this discussion today. So the first question goes to Odetta, and it's about the essence of Neurochain. Actually, what is Neurochain AI, and what do you guys do?
Thanks, Elena, for this question. And of course, I'm super conscious that, we're hosting this space on NeurochainAI X, so I don't want to be too boring for our community. But of course, hopefully some of your folks are joining too. So in a nutshell, really, NeurochainAI is the railroads for building AI solutions on top of it. And we do it in kind of like, several different aspects. So first of all, we are a decentralized physical infrastructure network. We're connecting GPUs, community GPUs, into a decentralized network to offer this hardware resource to compute AI. Something that, if you're following the AI space, of course, people are familiar that, there's a lack of GPUs and it's super expensive. So we're making the AI revolution inclusive by extending the capacity to run the computations for just consumer-grade hardware, because there is loads of consumer-grade hardware that is underutilized around the world. So that is kind of like the first and foremost thing that we do. The second thing that comes with it is obviously AI models. So we're not developing our own AI models. Instead, we're taking the most popular AI models and making them compatible and available on our network, so that any developer can take those AI models and integrate them in any solution really in minutes, and deploy obviously on our GPU network. So that means that, we're providing so far the two elements of the three elements, that is AI, which is GPUs and the AI models. And the third part is that we're also inviting our community and any community members to really participate in data collection and validation for training AI models. So as an example, and also as a showcase of the capacity of our network, our community, we're currently running NCN Bullish News, which is an AI broadcaster agent. So we're inviting the community members to share the news via Telegram to the bot. Then the other community members are voting whether these news are bullish or bearish. And once the vote is final, once we have 5 votes each, we then produce AI-generated videos with an AI avatar to actually broadcasting those news. So this is just an example of what type of solutions are possible to build on Neurochain AI. And so the kind of fourth element of what we do is building these AI solutions so that we're growing the compute, requests coming from just community, from audience, by using the AI dApps on our network, and 2, showing developers what capabilities are there on the network. And actually, like, the next step for us, which is very important, is working with more developers and getting, Neurochain into the hands of more and more developers. Currently, we have over 130 developers building various solutions on our network. And the outlook for the next year is really to grow that element, while also giving some other options for different companies, something that I don't want to spoil just yet. But that's hopefully pretty clear in a nutshell of our very complex and quite a huge infrastructure.
Thank you so much, Odetta. So actually, Kima is also kind of difficult project to understand for non-tech people. So I will ask Eitan to explain Kima as if you're explaining it to a kid, or actually to a non-tech person. So what is Kima and what do you do? What are we doing?
Yes. First of all, hi everyone, and thanks for taking the time to attend and listen. It's a real pleasure to talk about Kima and also about the potential connections with AI and this new emerging world. So in non-technical terms, really, if we need to simplify things, which is always a good thing to do, Kima is a solution, a technical solution to a problem that everyone knows. So we all know that financial systems, not always they're talking with each other. Technically speaking, the most common example is when we want to transfer money from one country to the other. The reason this is difficult and expensive is because the systems, the one bank systems, is not connected to all the rest of the banks in the world. So when we have this disconnect, we need to somehow bridge this gap, and the old world solution was to put an intermediary. So we know that those intermediaries are basically banks, other banks that have a global network of connections, and they're being called correspondent banks. Now that is the old world, fiat currencies that cannot move from one ecosystem, financial ecosystem, to the other. Now, when we look at the emerging innovation that is coming with digital currencies, we see a similar problem. So blockchains cannot really communicate with each other, not even layer 2 blockchains on Ethereum. So they're all built on top of Ethereum, but Arbitrum and Optimism cannot really directly communicate with each other. And if you now merge these two problems, one that the old world is disconnected and the new world is disconnected, and when you try also to converge the new world and the old world, so obviously it is impossible to do. So a blockchain cannot directly communicate with a bank account. Enterprise systems cannot communicate with blockchains and smart contracts. So we have this massive disconnect. So while everyone is bullish about digital currencies and stable coins and the new technologies that the blockchain brings with it, this is all great and wonderful. But when we look at real-world use cases, due to the fact that we have so many blockchains and they also need to live in a real world, then this is becoming a problem. Now, there are two types of solutions. One is a solution that is based on intermediaries. That means that we put a centralized entity in the middle that exchanges funds, which I think we know that this solution has some advantages, but many disadvantages. It's expensive, there's a trust assumption, it may take longer times, and also cybersecurity threats. The other type of a solution is very, very limited. So there's no way to connect bank accounts to blockchains. There are several ways, bridges to connect blockchains, but there's no one solution that really solves the whole thing. And this is what Kima is all about. We build a blockchain that uses cryptography to replace those intermediaries. We're going back to the basics of what do we need blockchain for, to remove intermediaries. So we built this blockchain that uses cryptographic algorithms to replace the trust that we have in those intermediaries. And we provide a single solution for all types of applications, both Web3 applications and Web2 applications, to call a single API and be able to transfer funds and messages between those disparate ecosystems.
Thank you, Eitan. Thanks for such a detailed and actually easy explanation what Kima is all about. And next question goes to Odeta. So how does Neurochain differ from decentralized AI solutions like OpenAI or Google AI?
Thanks for the question, but I really wanted to also touch back upon, Eitan, what you just said and how you explained Kima so perfectly. I actually worked at a bank in my previous life, and SWIFT and SEPA were definitely those terms that they're kind of like were flying around, and I was always thinking like, how uninclusive it is, but that the Western world really has built their ecosystems for themselves, and how blockchain is actually solving that, and how much more inclusive it is, regardless of who decided which country gets a seat at the table to be able to transfer money. But then, like, as you rightly explained, blockchain comes with so many wall guards, if you wish, right? So it's just really great to see what you guys building, and it's always refreshing to hear it firsthand from a founder, because like reading on the website is not always so super clear. So thanks a lot for this great explanation, and of course, like we've been talking to you guys earlier, and of course we're planning to work together, but yeah, just really thank you for this extra good explanation.
Thank you.
Yeah, so Alana, to go back to your question as to what Neurochain, how we differ from the centralized solutions. So first of all, we are focusing on the consumer-grade hardware powered by consumers. So essentially, we're connecting thousands upon thousands of regular Joes, if you wish, or regular people computers, inviting them to join and to earn from the AI revolution, not only sit by and wait while their jobs are being, AI'd out of the space, if you wish. So that's kind of like one key difference, is that we are an infrastructure provider. And of course, Google has both. It has the cloud and it has the models. So, then we're comparing ourselves to Google Cloud. Our key difference is that it's consumer-grade hardware, it's powered by the people, and we're also selling the AI computations per request instead of per hour. Because normally on Google Cloud, you go and you rent a GPU by hour, regardless of how much you use it. Nobody cares, really. You still have to pay. In our case, it's a, request came in, GPU has executed, the GPU gets reward, you're not paying anything extra. So that's kind of like the comparison between the centralized cloud compute providers, let's say. When it comes to, let's say, OpenAI and Gemini, the AI part of Google ecosystem, we in NeurochainAI, we're not developing an AI model. Both Google and OpenAI, of course, they have the resource, the money, the hardware, and the whole internet of data to train foundational AI models. Foundational AI model takes literally billions to train and to get to the level where ChatGPT is right now, or like Gemini. And of course, it also requires you to have access to all the world's data like Microsoft or Google has. So that's something that we're not doing. And then there is the third level where we're offering similar capacity, which is for developers to build their own solutions on top of our infrastructure. It's just that in our infrastructure, there are multiple AI models that the developers can choose from, instead of building just on, Gemini or just on ChatGPT. So yeah, I hope that explains, but there is a threefold, difference depending on which part of those ecosystems we're comparing ourselves against. But the fact that the data is open and everybody can actually transparently look and see what data is being used within our models, and that it's all open source AI models where the community benefits greatly. It's not only just some corporations that are doing everything behind closed doors. These are the key differences between us and them.
Thank you, Odeta. That makes pretty clear what you guys are doing and how you differ from the competitors. Thanks. And actually, Eitan gets the similar question. So what makes it special in the blockchain and AI industry as compared to similar solutions? So what's so special about Kima compared to others?
Yeah, so when we talk about bridging, obviously everyone thinks about dozens of solutions. And that brings me back to how we started Kima. So when we, the founders, before we came up with the idea, we actually were in the process of building a different product. We built a product that helped hedge funds and asset managers with their hedging strategies. So we automated the hedging strategies. And when one of the projects in the Solana ecosystem asked for a solution for hedging, it was impossible to utilize assets that lived on the Ethereum ecosystem, like options and futures and perpetuals, and not to mention centralized exchanges. So the solution that we started looking at existing solutions, and we did not like what we saw, mostly for security reasons. Every other solution used smart contracts that are hackable. If there's a bug or a loophole in the smart contract, it can be exploited by hackers, and 90+% of the hacks that we hear about bridges and DeFi in general is either a bug in the smart contract that is exploited or compromising the private key that controls the smart contract. So we were not happy with this solution. We looked for other solutions, and we did not find one, so we decided to build it ourselves. And to make a long story short, we decided eventually to go all in and focus on building this layer that can settle transactions across multiple ecosystems, both in centralized and decentralized infrastructure. So the number one, to answer your question, Olena, the number one feature is security. We have a unique patent pending security model that removes the attack vectors that we identified in other solutions. So that's number one. The number two feature is our unique ability to be truly agnostic to the asset classes. So adding chains to Kima is a simple task, since we don't need to develop and deploy smart contracts, and we don't have any dependency on specific technologies like a smart contract capability or languages, which makes us uniquely positioned to also connect bank accounts and enterprise backend systems. So that is the number two unique feature that our customers, our projects, once they deploy the Kima SDK or use our API, they do not need to change anything when new networks are being added, when new stable coins and assets are being added to the Kima ecosystem. That means that when we will launch fiat, we will support euros, but then shortly after we will add additional fiat currencies. So our customers will be able to support these currencies without doing anything at all. So the integration, and that's the third difference, the integration process of using Kima is extremely easy, extremely fast. It's just adding the API calls and Kima takes care of all the heavy lifting that is related to cross-ecosystem payments and transfers.
Thanks so much. Basically, you have already even answered my next question about the issues that Kima is tackling. And maybe next question will go to you, Eitan, too, because it's related to the previous question. So what's Kima's role in enabling seamless asset transfers and messages release for AI ecosystems?
Yeah, so AI ecosystems need to, there's also a payment component in it. So that's the number one role. So we provide a seamless, agnostic payment rail. It's a universal payment rail. So Odeta, you mentioned earlier, SEPA and SWIFT transfers. So businesses have multiple payment rails. They pay different fees, and they need providers that aggregate those payment rails. And in many cases, they don't support all of them. So for AI providers, AI service providers, by using Kima, we are providing this single rail that can be used to support both card transactions, stablecoin transactions, fiat transactions, and in the future, any other type of asset like CBDCs or anything like that.
And if I can jump in, but Olena, sorry, maybe that's already tapping into the next questions, but I think it really fits really well to talk about, why it is important for Neurochain, our partnership and kind of like that we're, super eagerly looking to integrate Kima and actually to start working together is that simple thing. Our developers on NeurochainAI, some of them are pure Web2 developers. And telling them that you have to go and now create like a wallet address and then maybe even like, wrap tokens and go through DEX to get them if they don't want to go through like centralized exchange where they have to complete the KYC and everything is like, it's a no-go. They would rather pay more somewhere else instead of going through this tedious user journey for somebody that is not in the free. So we have integrated Stripe to be able to accept the payments. But of course, working with the ecosystem players, with the free companies that offer this functionality and much more, because for us, it's also very important that our GPU providers, the people who are getting paid for, their service of providing GPUs for the compute, they might not want to get paid in NCN, but, Eitan, as you just explained, to pay them in Solana, then we are an EVM-based blockchain. Like it's super difficult and it requires integrations and it's money and it's time and it's all of this. So, just kudos for you guys because I think that, blockchain without the solutions like Kima would really be limited when it comes to the real world implementations where we have to work cross Web2 and the free, even though I don't like the differentiation, but it is true, right? Like the Web2 world does not necessarily appreciate the free one for the user journeys that are involved to actually be able to pay, to be able to participate. So really, sorry for jumping in, but I felt that it's a really good time to...
It's all good. You have actually almost predicted my next question about the future collaboration that we can do together. And I really like that because it sounds like a discussion more than rather than me asking questions and answering them. So that's highly appreciated.
Of course, and I honestly believe that this is the way forward for blockchain. It's interoperability because everybody, even ourselves, like we decided to have a blockchain because it offers full control over your ecosystem, over your supply, over your everything from node owners, from strategies that you employ as a project. It gives that flexibility and independence. And there are multiple projects like us But is that the best solution? Then you have to spend so much time and effort and money to make it interoperable with other blockchains. So kudos, really, just the best feedback about Kima network, really.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to hear that. So next question will go to Eitan. So Eitan, having received such nice words from Adetta, what can you say about the upcoming milestones that Kima is going to achieve? And maybe you can also shed light on potential Kima and Neurochain collaboration similar to what Adetta did.
Yeah, first of all, thank you, Adetta, for these insights and kind words. I totally agree. I think that as ecosystem players, we need to see always how we can collaborate within the ecosystem. And I think that practically, it's not that we're dependent on people that will choose us because we're a blockchain and not Stripe. We do believe that there are several advantages that Kima has that Stripe doesn't. But yeah, if there's a reason why we all choose to be in the space, we want to build a different economy, a different infrastructure play. Deepin is all about that. It's always best to also decentralize and open up the other components, not just the core components. So in this case, payment is a key component that we would be happy to, that the ecosystem will adopt open solutions like Kima and others. So in terms of what's coming, yeah, this is really exciting because 2025 is going to be a pivotal year for the whole space, and we think that for us as well. We recently launched the mainnet, so we're live in production. That is a key milestone that we worked hard 3 years to get to. And from now on, everything we do is with real customers. We already have a few, and others are joining and integrating. So for them, we have really a rich plan and roadmap. I want to highlight maybe a couple of things. Some I cannot talk about yet, but the highlights that are coming early next year include something that already implied, and that is the fiat capability. So what that means is basically blockchain, or better said, decentralized applications will have seamless access to fiat currencies. Now think about that. We keep talking about the next billion users. We talk about hurdles, removing hurdles, and blockers from adoption. And liquidity is one of those main blockers. So, as you said, Odetta, requiring people to change their assets from one blockchain to the other is something that is not acceptable in the Web2 world, right? If there's an Amazon shop selling on Amazon and they tell us you cannot buy with your credit card because it's from your country, you need a local credit card or a local currency. Think of the friction that it will add, and people will just not buy. And this is the situation today. Our vision is that all of this friction goes away in a seamless manner. So people that have used DC on Solana will be able to use them regardless of what chain the application is using. Now, how many people have in the world, in percentage-wise, have cryptocurrencies? The percentage is very low. How many have fiat currencies? Now we're talking about huge potential liquidity, huge access to users, and this is the revolution that we think that Kima can bring by providing access to fiat, traditional credit cards, and fiat currencies without relying on Stripe, without relying on bank transfers. The whole thing is a similar experience. This is one thing that is coming. The other thing that we're also working on is something that we dedicate to real-world assets, and that is the ability to have two parties exchange a real-world asset in a financial transaction without intermediaries. And the financial world, it's called the DVP transaction, delivery versus payment. We have two parties. One needs to pay, the other needs to deliver the real-world asset. And the two parties now need to swap it. Now, today, you need, again, an intermediary to hold both the payment and the asset, and only when the two things happen to complete the swap. What Kima does is it enables two parties to swap it peer-to-peer, where the Kima blockchain functions as a decentralized escrow. So both parties deposit the payment and the asset in a Kima secured account, which functions as a decentralized escrow, and only when the terms are met, they are being sent to their destination. So again, we provide a seamless swap for a very complex problem to solve without intermediaries, and that's exactly the same architecture. So this is an expansion that we're doing beyond payment, also for DVP transactions. So yeah, these are just the two major capabilities that we plan to debut in the coming year.
Thank you, Eitan, for sharing with us. And probably I will give the word to Deta to talk about the upcoming milestones for Neurochain AI and about the potential collaboration between Kima and Neurochain. Before we move to some kind of funny part, which will be a speed round, where I'm going to make some fun with the speakers here. So Deta, please, and Mick, to you.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks a lot. Can I have a quick question to Eitan? I'm just, listening to you, and I have a question. Are you also going to integrate with like SEPA and SWIFT, or are you integrating with the banks to enable the fiat transactions, or that's too much information to ask?
No, not at all. Not at all. Actually, when we launch fiat support, we will launch all the payment rails. That means SEPA, SWIFT, and card transactions.
So you're also kind of working with getting licensed and like agencies looking at the order in the financial systems. Is that? We remain as a technological layer and as an ecosystem. So our approach is different. We're not an intermediary that gets a license. Okay. We partner with service providers that will function as a network of service providers with bank access, and they are the licensed agents, and we just utilize the blockchain just orchestrates these transfers between them, as opposed to just obtaining the licenses ourselves. Okay. Yeah, I think that network approach is coming next to the decentralization approach, right? Because like networks are so important to kind of offer credible services across, in our case, AI, and in your case, financial services.
Exactly.
Yeah. But so also to kind of, our roadmap is very much in line with your roadmap, because AI is really chain agnostic, it's technology agnostic. And our mission is to make AI fully interoperable with anything, really, any technology. So we want to make sure that there are no limitations, regardless of who the users are of Neurochain services, no limitations as to how they can access our services. And those services are, as I mentioned, it's the GPU providers. For the GPU providers, we want to make sure that they don't have to worry about them being a Solana ecosystem player, but now having to come and connect their GPUs and start receiving, their rewards in NCN. So the interoperability across chains, that's something that we're super focused on for the next year. That's kind of like a big milestone to move towards full interoperability of both the infrastructure, the technological part, and also the whole financial part. What currency can be used to pay for services, and what currency can be used, and I mean by currency I mean like crypto or fiat, really, can be withdrawn. So that's kind of like one of the huge milestones for us. Full interoperability on all of these ends. Another big milestone for us is something that we're kind of like hinting to, but not necessarily properly talking about it yet. But I don't think that I'm doing anything like huge by spoiling here. We're planning to offer DeepIn, or like, private network for companies, just like we have our own DeepIn, where we are inviting GPUs to connect in our DeepIn to compute and to offer the compute resources for NeurochainAI ecosystem. We're actually developing a system where even Kima could have their own GPU network. And it can be, the NeurochainAI GPUs, or it can be Kima Networks community GPUs, or it can be even like AWS, if you wish, actually plugged into that ecosystem of computations. Of course, if Kima will use AI in itself, and will have such a, that's just an example. But these are the two big milestones for us. One is to, tear down the barriers of using AI. And second is to extend and enable companies to have their own private decentralized networks for computations. So these are the biggest milestones. And of course, as I'm already talking about interoperability and the whole payment ecosystem, that we are super keen to make sure that, people don't have to go through any hoops to get NCN and to be able to participate in our ecosystem. That kind of already says a lot about what we're planning to do with Kima, and that we see Kima as a great partner in our interoperability journey.
Thank you, Odetta. So thank you, Eitan. Now we are going to have some fun and to have some speed round. So guys, I'm going to ask you questions. So please don't think about them as in an investment advice or so. So this is just for pure fun, and we are going to have fun together. The question is short. This is like either or question, which requires your only short answer. That's it.
I'm a bit nervous. I've never done this before. I'm a bit nervous, not sure what to expect.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure you have seen all those American TV shows where the presenter asks us stupid questions. So yeah, so Odetta, we'll start with you. So would you rather participate in crypto mining or staking for earning crypto rewards?
Staking.
Okay. Eitan, for securing your crypto, do you trust hardware wallets more or software wallets?
Hardware.
Okay. Odetta, which consensus mechanism do you support more, proof of work or proof of stake?
Proof of stake.
Okay. Eitan, trading on DEXs or SEXs?
Texas.
Neither.
Neither, yeah. I had this question, this answer, yeah. But DEX is more than Texas.
Okay, so decentralization. Okay. Odetta, consensus 2024 or Web Summit?
Sorry, can you repeat? Consensus?
Yes, Consensus 2024 or Web Summit.
Consensus.
Okay, okay. Eitan, similar question to you. Blockchain Paris Week or Token 2049?
Paris Blockchain.
Thanks for a
Okay.
tip.
So that's a question to you. Lunch with Elon Musk or Changpeng
Whoa, no. I don't want this one. No, but actually Elon Musk, to be honest, yeah, I have a lot to comment and ask.
Yeah, thanks. So, and the last question to Eitan. Eitan, Bitcoin or Ethereum?
Wow. Wow, that's okay. So the honest answer is that I think they're completely different. They're not comparable.
That's the answer that we would expect from a tech person. Thanks. Yeah.
Thanks a lot,
Okay.
Solena. Yeah, that was fun.
Thank you. I hope that I made you smile a little bit and just to finish this discussion with some smile on your face. So thank you for participation. I hope that is our first and not the last AMA and event that we're having together. So Adeta, it was a pleasure to be hosted on your side, and it was my pleasure to meet you here and to hold this AMA with you and Eitan. So thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you and best of luck. Really looking forward for all the great things that are coming for us together.
Likewise. Looking forward to it. Thank you so much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.